I told him, I'm like, well, go tell the motherfucker if you want something, fucking, I'll come out there. We can get him up right now. So he was like, yeah. It was all right. I'll go tell him right now. So I'm watching this motherfucker. He still had weights in prison at that time. I was huge. And this dude was like a little itty bitty motherfucker, man. But he wanted to wrestle. So things got carried away like I knew they would. I end up picking him up, doing my signature move. We're still leadership. We're always gonna be leadership, and you know, that's the way it is, man. So it was fucked up for a lot of youngsters that didn't know any better and just got caught up in that, man. All right, you guys, it's episode 61 of War Stories, and I'm going to get straight to it. But before I do, let me just say this. So for those of you that might have missed my live Saturday night, let me just take this opportunity out to wish all of you a belated Happy Father's Day. I hope you all enjoyed it. And for those of you that are fortunate enough to have a father, I hope you guys did everything that you could to make it special for him. So I'm going to get straight into this. So I was going to run an Inner Demons tonight, but I decided to run a war story because a lot of you have been asking about the second part of that incident that happened at Lake Mendocino, where I got into a brawl with, shout out to the Southsiders, shout out to the Upstaters, with the Southsiders. So before I get too many episodes along, I want to go ahead and finish that second episode real quick. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, go back. I think it's episode 57 or 58, one of those. And there was an incident that happened at a lake. It should be, the thumbnail should be Brawl at Lake Mendocino or something like that. But anyways, you know, I ended up losing about $400 worth of equipment, all the food, all the beer. A brawl ended up breaking out over there. There was gunshots that ended up, I don't know who had a gun. I don't know if it was one of the homies. I don't know if it was one of them. That happened in the parking lot. Nobody ended up getting hit, but it was pandemonium. It was chaos over there. There was people running everywhere, and you know, you guys got to go check it out. It's a crazy story, but you know, unfortunately, you know, there was a lot of families there that they were all running to their cars trying to get out the way, and you know, they were probably thinking like, man, we can't even have a good time without these cats, you know, always fighting and messing it up for everybody else. So you know, this is the second part of it right here, and you know, it's not nothing nearly like the first part, but I'm going to tell you what happened because it was associated with it. So this was about 2 months after that incident. It's about 2 months after that incident. I went out to Santa Rosa for some reason. I want to say it was because I ended up going out there, meeting up with, I want to say his name was Paco from Santa Rosa, an individual that I was dealing with out there that ended up cooperating in Operation Black Widow. This was the same individual, I believe I mentioned it in that last episode, that they had him wired up and he was setting up a bunch of people out there. Anyway, so on my way back from Santa Rosa, driving north to Ukiah, I was somewhere by, well, I was in Cloverdale. I was in Cloverdale and I stopped off to get some gas. Now, let me just say this. Cloverdale is like a little small rustic town out there, about 20 to 30 minutes going north past Santa Rosa. It's like in between Santa Rosa and Ukiah. It's a small town. There's literally nothing going on out there. It'll probably take you 5 to 10 minutes on the freeway to drive through that entire town. You might see something like, the best thing that they got going on out there is probably like a rock shop where they sell rocks. And, you know, I want to say that they have a couple of those sculptor stores out there. So when you're driving up the coast, you'll see a lot of those stores. They're called wood sculptors, where they basically carve bears out of wood, animals, squirrels, whatever you see out there, wildlife, lumberjacks. You'll see a bunch of, you know, statues outside. So you'll see a lot of that kind of stuff out there. And then again, it's like right there on the coast. But anyways, Cloverdale is like it's a small town. There's really nothing happening out there. They probably got like 3 gas stations in that whole town. And this gas station that I stopped off at, I want to say it's a Valero. And I always used to stop off at that same gas station, probably because it was the biggest gas station out there and it was the most visible. It's right off the freeway. Those of you that are familiar with that area, you know what I'm talking about. I had to jump back in my car and cut tread. I had to. Anyway, so I'm pulling up to the pump and I remember that car now. So I pull up to a pump like right on the other side. You got two rows that you can usually go in, 2 or 3 rows, depending on how big that gas station is. This was like a medium-sized one. There was like 2 rows. So I pull up on the other side. Now, this car is facing in the other direction. So when I pull up, I can see that there's somebody sitting shotgun, but there's only one person sitting in the car, which tells me that the other person is inside the store. And this gas station is like a AM, PM type of gas station, a quick stop where, they sell gas, but you can also go in there and buy Zuzus, Wham Whams, and ho-hos. You go in there and buy some goodies and stuff like that, right? They sell beer, water, and all that kind of stuff. So I looked, I'm doing my recon now. So after I scan the parking lot and I'm pretty sure that there's nobody else out there besides just this one car, I look at the store. It's like I said, it's like a quick stop type of AM, PM type of thing. I know it was a Valero. They had like a little store in there though, where you can go in there and buy your Zuzus and Wham Whams and your ho-hos and your Twinkies and all that kind of good stuff. Beer, soda, water. So anyways, I look through the windows to see if I can see anybody in there because I don't know what I'm going to encounter. I don't know if there's 1, 2, 3, I don't know how many there is, and I don't know what they got. They could have blades on them. They could have burners. I could be walking into a bad situation. And, those of you that have been in situations like this, sometimes we're out there and we're banging like this, or we're going at cats. It doesn't necessarily matter if you're outnumbered. A lot of the times, you'll go in on cats just depending on the circumstances. If you look at some cats and they just look like some straight clowns, you're going to go at them. If these dudes look like riders, you're probably gonna be a little bit more careful about how you approach the situation. At least that's what I used to do. Every situation is different, but I have my head on a swivel. Obviously, I didn't know what I was gonna encounter. So I walk in the store and I start scanning the store. As soon as I go in there, I'm looking around. I walk through some of the aisles. I don't see anybody. I look over by the beer. Nobody's there. There's only one place that they could be, and that's in the bathroom. Again, I don't know how many there is. So at that point, I could either be walking into the best case scenario. There's one cat in there, and I'm about to catch his ass by himself. They're not at the lake, and he's not with 10, 15 of his boys. I'm going to catch him by himself. Or, there could be 2 or 3 of them in there. So I cut straight for the bathroom. I make a beeline for the bathroom. As I'm walking in, I open up the door and literally we almost run into each other. Now, as soon as I see this cat, I remember him. He's a little short cat. He's like 5'2", 5'3", little fat cat. Looks like a bison, probably around, in his late 20s, early 30s. And as soon as we see each other, he recognized me. I could tell by the look on his face. It looked like all the color had just drained from his face. And, we locked eyes and I said, hey, you remember me? You remember me from the lake? And he don't say nothing. He tries to walk around me and I cut him off. And I said, hey, motherfucker, I'm talking to you. Remember me from the lake? You threw a fucking bottle at my car. And he just looks at me. Again, he tries to walk around me again. When he tried to walk around me again, here it comes. You guys already know. So anyways, I beast on this cat. I go in on him and he tried to fight back. I'm not going to lie, man. I'm not putting 2 on the 10. I'm telling you guys straight up. He tried to fight back, or at least he tried to block me from hitting him. He tried to protect himself. But I was on his ass. He touched shit in that bathroom he probably didn't even know was there. I had him up against the stalls for a minute. by the sink, and then I ended up dropping him. So he gets up and he don't say nothing. The whole time we were in the bathroom, he never said nothing. When he tried to walk by me, he didn't say nothing. When I put him on the floor, he didn't say nothing. So he gets up and he don't want to fight. He's not making no attempt to fucking try to come back at me. He's not squaring up with me. He's just standing there. You know, it's obvious the dude doesn't want to fight. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know, when you're getting them up with somebody and they're not coming back at you, they're just, especially when you drop them, you put them down and they get up and it's just like they're just standing there just trying to avoid it. They don't want no problem. You can tell, man. So as soon as he gets up, the attendant, which was a female, she comes to the bathroom door and she's like, you guys need to go outside. You guys need to take that outside. She goes, I called the cops. She said, you guys need to take that out of here. As soon as she said that, you guys got to remember, I'm on parole. I was on parole when that incident kicked off at Mendocino Lake, Lake Mendocino, and I'm still on parole. So when somebody talks, or when somebody threatens to call the cops, you ain't got to tell me twice. I'm up out of there. So, you know, this dude didn't want to fight anyway, man. I turned around and made a beeline straight for my car. I walk out to the pump. I take the nozzle out. This dude comes out the store. He walks straight to his car. As I'm taking the nozzle out, putting my gas cap back on, I'm assuming once he got back to his car, he told his boys something, because all of a sudden the doors open and two cats jump out. Now, I know for a fact that when I drove up, when I'm doing my recon, I know that I'm about to get into it with somebody. I seen that car. I looked and there was only one person in the front seat sitting shotgun. I don't know where this fool came from. I don't know if he was laying down in the back seat. I don't know if he was around the side of the building, pissing on the wall. I don't know where he came from, but so two cats end up jumping out. So it's a 3-on-1 now. But the little fat dude that I got into with, he doesn't even make no effort to even come over there. These other two dudes jump out. One's a youngster. He looked like he was probably 16 years old. Immediately, as soon as I see him, I conclude this dude is not a threat. I'm focusing on the tall dude. That's who I'm gonna focus on. This dude comes at me. I'm not even worried about the youngster. So this dude jumps out and he's saying something in Spanish, and all of a sudden he starts taking off his jacket. So I'm like, okay, I guess we're gonna fight, right? So he takes his jacket off. Now he's taking his shirt off. I'm standing there like, are you serious? I know you guys all have ran into dudes like that for whatever reason, they get butt ass naked and want to fight. They take their shirt off. I don't know if it's an intimidating factor. I don't know what it is. But this fool takes off his shirt. Then he takes off his wife beater. So once he gets naked, he says something in Spanish, and then he tries to act like he wants to run up on me. So we square up. When we square up, it's obvious these two dudes did not want to fight, man. The youngster, like I said, I wasn't even taking him as a threat. So me and the tall cat, we square up, and every time I try to go in on this cat, all he kept doing was backing up. He kept backing up, and I kept telling him, come on, motherfucker. You know, I'm not going to chase you. So he would come in, and then as soon as I try to go in on him, he just kept backing up. And I'm like, man, you don't want to fight, bro. The youngster, he would run up, and all I would do is just stomp my foot in his direction, and he'd jump back. I kept doing that, and that was enough to keep him away. Neither one of these dudes wanted to fight. All three of them could have packed me out. But anyway, so after he kept on just backing up, kept doing that, I was like, I lost interest. I'm like, I'm out of here, man. So I go back to my car. He's talking shit now while I'm walking back to my car. Okay, you done something. So, you know, I know that at least the attendant said she called the cops, and Cloverdale, it's a small area. I knew that they were going to be there if she did call them any minute. So I get in my car. I start to drive away. As I'm driving away, I'm looking at these cats. They start throwing up gang signs. You know, in closing this up real quick, I know this was just it was a quick one, but it happened, and it's relevant to that other story I told you guys. You know, the bottle that hit my Explorer, it really didn't do that much damage. It put a little nick on it, and it nicked the paint, and that's all it really did. You know, the little fat cat that I caught in the bathroom, I really didn't do nothing to him. You know, I put a good thumping on him. You know what I mean? I thumped him real good, dropped him, bust him up, probably bust his lip. But maybe he had a black eye the next day. I don't know. But, you know, I got some get back for what they did to my car. You know, if I would have had a weapon, I probably would have done something to him, even though these dudes didn't want to fight, just because of the way that whole incident went down and the way I had to leave because them cats, you know, the way they pulled up on me at the end, it was just one of the things. They're lucky I didn't have a piece, and I'm lucky they didn't have a piece. You know what I mean? I've been in situations like this before. Sometimes to some of the viewers, it seems foreign to get into a fight where you're outnumbered. People are like, you didn't fight. Maybe it's foreign to some of you because that's nothing that you've done before, or because that's gangbanging. That's gangbanging right there. Or it's just that's how I came up. You know, the numbers never really matter. And I'm usually always used to being, you know, the minority. Well, that's in prison. But, you know, numbers don't scare me. You know, I'm probably not gonna end up beating up 3-4 cats, but I'll mix them up with them. I'll get them up, you know, and if they don't beat me down, at least we're gonna fight, and whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. Anyways, I know this was a quick one. I just wanted to close this incident, you know, out. This all happened in relation to that other incident. And, you know, I ended up losing all that equipment. I lost all that food. I lost all that beer. I lost all kind of stuff at the lake that day. And, you know, my car got hit by a bottle. So, hey, I got some get back. I didn't get my run backs like I really wanted to, but, you know, I got some get backs. Anyways, I wouldn't end up running into those individuals again. That was pretty much, you know, I'd end up catching a violation. Not too long after that, I go back to prison. I think I had 1 or 2 other incidents out there in Ukiah with, you know, the upstaters or the Southsiders. Again, shout out to all the Southsiders. You guys know what it is. Anyways, you guys, this was just a quick one. You know, this wasn't no banger, but, you know, it's relevant. It happened. Again, it happened, and it was all related to that one incident that happened at the lake. With that said, you know, I want to say one last thing real quick, and I want to extend my appreciation to all those of you that have been dropping the positive comments about, you know, me staying out of the drama. You know, all I'm going to say is that it's really not hard to stay out of it. That's not how I settle my conflicts. It never has been. It's just not the way that I do things. So, you know, I addressed some things in that live, and that's as far as I'm going to go with it. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys trying to keep it positive and, you know, encouraging me to stay positive. Anyway, with that said, this is episode 61 of War Story. Anyways, I'm going to try to drop an Inner Demons tomorrow. It'll be a banger. It's heating up. Like I said, you know, it's starting to get good. So this episode 61, this your boy B, and I'm out.